Hello, this is Harry and welcome to another video where today I'm doing something very different to the stuff I normally do. Obviously, as you know, I am a gaming channel and I tend to do gaming videos, but today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I am going to be reviewing these markers. So these are alcohol-based markers. I've recently got into art because we've been in quarantine, and I've been filling up time doing art stuff. So I brought a bunch of alcohol markers, and some were cheaper than others. I first got this big pack of off-brand markers, and there's 80 alcohol markers in here. These weren't too much money, because obviously they're off brands, you get them a lot cheaper, better deal. But yeah, I got a good deal on them. I also brought one single brush marker by Winsor & Newton. Unluckily the colour code is R666, so that's a bit unfortunate. But because there's only one of these, I can't do one of the tests I've got planned. I also got some Spectrum Noir markers. These I've heard lots of good things about online. However, when I got these, I did realise that these ones, these are actually different. So, like, they're different colours. So I'm not sure if these are actually genuine or not. But we'll see. Anyway, so I've got those there. Those are my Spectrum Noirs. There's 6 of those. I have the Grass LG5. I have the Peacock Blue, which is BT6. I've got the Golden Yellow, which is GY4. And I have the TB8, JG3 and DR5 here. Red, green and blue, I guess. They don't really have names on. I don't know if these are old versions or what, but we'll see in a minute. I've also got the top brand, Copic. Now, I've heard lots of great things about Copic markers. Being the top brand, you're bound to hear a bit. I've got quite a few of these. This is the only brand new ones I've got. I got most of them second hand. These aren't all the ones I've ordered. I ordered a few more and they haven't arrived yet, but I just thought I'd record today, because why not? I have everything I need to record, so yeah. And we are going to be testing them using some sheets. I've printed some sheets off. I've got some different things. So this sheet, we are going to just basically talk about them all. I'm going to just answer some basic questions which you may have about Copic markers. So basically, the eBay off-brand, did they offer a colourless blender in my pack of 80 here? No, they had no colourless blender. However, on eBay, if you search enough, you can get a colourless blender. But for these, no, they didn't have a colourless blender. Okay, so the Winsor & Newton Promarker, do they offer a colourless blender? Well, I didn't get it. Yes, they do. And Spectrum Noir, do they offer a colourless blender? Being one of the kind of top range, yeah, they do offer a colourless blender, which is good. And Copic, obviously they do. I have one in this pack here, which I'm going to open in a minute. So yeah, they obviously have a colourless blender. Okay, so do they offer refills? eBay off-brand? No. Clearly they don't offer refills. Why would they? The Promarker do refills? No, they don't. Surprisingly, no. Spectrum Noir, they do offer refills, although I haven't found much about it, so I believe they do. Do Copic offer refills? Yes. Yes, they definitely do. So with the eBay off-brands, can you buy them singly on their own? If one runs out, can you replace it? No. You can only buy them in packs. I got the 80 pack, which is the biggest. You can buy them in smaller packs, but they're still quite large packs, so yeah. With the Promarkers, can you? Yes, I did. In fact, buy them single. I only got one. With the Spectrum Noirs, yes, you can. And the Copics, yes, you can. eBay Off Brand, do they offer a brush tip? No, they don't. Do they offer a chisel tip? Yes, they do. And let me use a forest screen to demonstrate this. So the chisel tip is there. Yep, they do have a chisel tip. And a fine tip. Yes, they do. Okay, so Winsor & Newton Promarkers. What tips do they have? So I'm going to open my single brush marker here. I do have to say it's not packaged the best. It's packaged decently. Okay. So, my brush marker. Clearly I've got the brush marker, so it's obviously got a brush, which is actually quite nice to draw with. I only got one of these because I didn't really feel like I'd like it. Mainly the look kind of put me off. I don't like how the label's just a sticker, and I just find the shape a bit odd. They do also have a chisel tip, and on another one, their Promarker, they do have a fine tip, but I don't have that, so I'm just going to put a big tick there. Okay, so Spectrum Noirs, I'm going to open up all of these now. So these ones, I believe, don't have the brush tip. I think these are the ones with the chisel and the fine. So, oh, there's another layer of plastic. Okay, I didn't realise that. Let me take that off now. If I can get into it. You know, some things are really satisfying to open when you first get them, like a new phone. These are quite the opposite. Okay, there we go. So, that is those ones, and I now have 3 more to open, which is just fantastic. Oh, these look like they actually have... Okay, that was much easier. These ones actually have a proper opening thing. Okay, that was a lot better. Why didn't they do that on the other ones? I don't know. Now, the question I do want to know, because it looks like this has a brush tip, according to that image, but I'm sure the black ones don't. No, it is a fine tip. It just looks like a brush tip on the image for some reason. Okay. And then we need to open our golden yellow and our grass. Okay, this one doesn't for some reason. It was just that one that looked a bit different, which looked more normal. So I guess these are an outdated design, and that one is that I just opened is a new one. That's what I presume. Okay, so I do know they also updated their brush nibs at one point. I found out by watching a lot of Jazz's videos. Jazza is one of the top art YouTubers if you don't know. Go and check him out, his channel is really cool. With the Copics, I had to get the Copic Chow because I couldn't afford the Copic Sketch, which is obviously what I want, because that is the really good professional one. But the Chows are exactly the same, just a bit smaller and have less ink therefore, apparently. These are all our Spectrum Noir markers here. So the brush tip, yes, we do have a brush tip, and I'm going to, actually I'll show it with the green because we have a green in both pens. So brush tip, let's try this out for the first time. Okay, very nice brush tip there. Chisel tip, you need to go to this green marker, and then for the fine tip, just switch to the other side of this. There you go. And then this one also has a fine tip, so I'll just use that as well, just to compare both. Okay, cool. So that is the test for the Spectrum Noirs. Okay, so for the Copics, I'm just going to open this pack. So these look really nice. Opening this will obviously devalue it quite a lot, which is unfortunate, but I need to open it. I can't just leave them in the packet, can I? Okay. So, when you open the packet, it advertises their Facebook, which is great. Alright, I just dropped those everywhere. Okay, so these are brand new Copic markers. Wow. Okay, so I don't have any fine tips because I didn't purchase the set, but they do offer fine tips, so I'm going to have to put a tick there as well. But let's just use a red for the test. Well, this isn't actually a red, this is a very dark pink, so I'm just going to use this. So, brush tip. Oh, wow. Okay, that is a nice brush. I really like that. I feel like it just feels so much better than the other ones. Spectrum Noir wasn't too bad. Promarker was actually quite nice. Now, what I didn't mention is the paper I'm using is just regular print paper. I know that's not what you're supposed to use with these, but I just thought it would work for this video because I'm not drawing anything magnificent. And it does work, it just bleeds a little bit out, especially with the Promarker. Actually, that has a lot of bleed, I've noticed. Yeah, that's bleeding a lot across, like, not necessarily through the page. What's it called? Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, it's gone through the page a lot as well. I can see it on there, actually, on the black. You probably can't, but... Okay, so, now the question, the price of the markers. So, how much are they? Well, how much should I get them for? Anyway, so... Oh, I haven't done the conversions on my playing sheet. I'm going to have to do that in a minute, but okay. So, in pounds, the eBay Off Brand worked out at 31 pence a marker, and the Promarker here worked out at, the one I got was £2.50 for the one marker. Spectrum Noirs, the average of these was £1.94. Now with the Copics, I got a lot of second-hand markers. As you saw, that packet was the one new pack I got. So I'm going to go with the new ones, and I'm going to work out, so I'm going to divide total of that by the 6 markers, which works out £2.63, which is a great deal for Copics, compared to how much they are in other places. I got a very good deal there, I got lucky. Okay, so I'm going to convert all these to dollars for you. Okay, so the eBay Off Brands worked out at 39 cents in US dollar price. The Promarker was $3.13. The Spectrum Noir was $2.43, and the Copic was $3.29. Converted, obviously, roughly. I can't do it perfect. Okay, so we're going to come back to these ratings afterwards, because I have other sheets to show you. So, this is my swatch sheet for the eBay Off Brands. I'm going to do swatch sheets for the other two now, and then we can compare. So this is just on normal print paper yet again. Everything I'm doing in this video is normal print paper. I'm going to save the actual stuff for my proper artworks when I do some. Oh, okay. What I'm noticing with this is that the brush tip is very, very soft and it's difficult to write with, so I'm actually just going to write with the other side. So that's a GY4. Okay, then we have our blues. So I think this is their updated tip, because that was the old tip, I think. Yeah, perfect. So BT6. It's not as good as Copic, from experience. I haven't had much experience. But it's a lot better than their old ones. I'm just going to pop that out there right now and just say, because it is. Now, I do like Spectrum Noirs, but I would go with their newer ones rather than their old ones if you can. Obviously, I've tested out both in this video, and if you have access to just the new ones, they are a darker black on the label than the kind of almost purpley, strangely, on the old ones. I don't know why, but yeah. So this is JG3. So these are my Spectrum Noirs. There we go, that's my small swatch page for the Spectrum Noirs I have. So and this is my Winsor & Newton brush marker, which sounds very posh. So this is my R666 6. Yeah, unfortunate colour code. But yeah. Oh, I don't like the cap for this. I keep catching it and worrying I'm going to actually damage the brush tip. Okay, so this is the brush marker. I do like chisel tip on that, I'll be honest. So I kind of do like this, but not on this paper. This paper, it just bleeds a lot, and I don't like the look of this. So I do feel like it kind of actually outperforms the Spectrum Noir. But I don't like the look, and it bleeds a lot on regular paper. You probably need a very special paper for this. Anyway, so the pens I have. I have 2 second-hand ones, which are B29 and R29. So these are running quite low on ink, I believe. Unfortunately. But I'm going to pop this to the side, and I'm going to get a new piece of paper just to test these ones. So I'm going to test both the brush. Oh yeah, this one, you can tell this had a lot of use from its previous owner. Yeah, it's running quite dry. So this is the R29. So this is the RV29. Let's try this. Okay, so this looks very red. It's obviously much juicier than the R29 because it is a brand new marker. This is the RV29, which is crimson. It's a very nice colour, I like that. I'm going to be using that a lot, I think. You can just tell that these are much better top brand markers. And I'm very lucky to actually have these, and very lucky to get them for the price I did, because I got some really good deals on eBay. Okay, so B24 is a very light colour. This is a B05, which I have instantly fallen in love with, and which is good because I actually ended up with a few of these, or I will when they all come. And there you go. So, our colour comparisons. So let's have a look. So we have our eBay Off Brands here, our Copics here, and our... Okay, I can't really show them all on screen. Actually, I can. There you go. I'll move that a bit closer. Okay, so we have Copics, Off Brands, Spectrum Noir, and Brush Marker. So, yeah, we obviously have a lot of colours eBay Off Brands because we just bought a bigger pack because they are less money. We do have some pastel colours here, which is nice. I wasn't expecting that when I ordered these. The pastel colours, they seem to be rarer, but they are really nice, and it's good for blending and stuff. Copics, we don't have that personally, but they obviously do them. I've got lots of greys here. This is good, but there are some muddy colours. I did notice when I was playing around with these the other day and doing this. Quite a lot of the colours looked muddy, especially at first. They seem to kind of leave the muddiness to us a bit. But some colours do look exactly the same, like 62 and 63 here look very, very similar, maybe even exactly the same, you could say. And 57 down here also looks similar to them. But the Spectrum Noirs do look very nice. I'm just going to say that now. If we get rid of the eBay Off Brands for a minute, the Spectrum Noirs have very, very nice colours. We have our brush marker here as well. Anyway, what I'm going to be doing before we go on to our artwork is I am going to be filling out this sheet here. So this is a basic test sheet I've put together. So you have a red test and a white pen test, which I am going to be using this Uniball Signo here to just write over the top a little bit, because I know a lot of artists like to do that. And yeah, so I'm going to be using that there. So for the eBay Off Brands, we want a nice red, so I'm going to go closest to my brush marker red. Okay, so here's our reds. I'm just going to colour in these circles the best I can to get a nice even colour. As I said, this is printer paper, so it will bleed outwards, and I'm not an artist, so I probably went over the lines a little bit there as well myself. Okay, so our brush marker. I'm going to be using the brush tip for these. So use the chisel tip for that last one. This does enable you to be more accurate. So if it does bleed over the edges, it's probably not going to be me as much with this. And actually, it's not bleeding as much as the eBay Off Brand did. So maybe I was wrong about that, but we shall see, because it did take a little while earlier from what I saw. Okay, so now we have our Spectrum Noir. With the red we have the fine tip and the chisel tip, so I'm going to have to use the chisel tip for this. Spectrum Noir red, which is a very nice colour. The Promarker does look like it could do another layer, which isn't great, because, I mean, you can layer it twice, why not? Which is very nice. It's a really nice colour. I just love how juicy these Copics are. Yeah, so there we go. Lovely. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the Promarker just to like smooth this out a little bit, because it seems a little uneven, and I do want to just try and get it as even as I can by giving it a second layer. The white pen. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to have any difference over the different ones. It's not a very good pen. I wouldn't recommend this. I might try as well in pencil. Okay, some artists do this, but it doesn't work. This pen isn't great, unfortunately. Or I'm just using it wrong. It's a gel pen, and I'm not very good with gel pens, so probably just me using it wrong. Anyway, let's try that with a pencil, just to see how well that shows. I'm going to do a pencil over this side. Obviously, it doesn't make any sense of shadowing, but, you know, it's just a test. Okay, my pencil doesn't show very well on these either. Well, it kind of does more on these, actually. Maybe I've saturated it too much. These are probably too dark colours ready to use it on. Blend test. So we're going to be using two different colours to try and blend them together. So I'm going to put these back where they belong. I'm not using the colourless blender. That's not what that's for. It has a very misleading name. So yeah. Alright, so I'm going to be blending the same colours together where possible. So I'm going to go with my Spectrum Noirs and choose two colours to blend. So I'm going to be using the brush tips because I like them more. So I'm purposely choosing the ones with the brush tips. So I'm going with the grass green and the peacock blue there. These are also different sizes. They've made them a little bit larger, if that is the new design. If you can see that, I don't know, it's a tiny bit larger. But yeah, so I'm going to be using these for the Spectrum Noirs. I can't do this test for the Promarker, I've mentioned that. I'm going to match these colours with these. Does not match though. Okay, for the Copics, I don't actually have a green right now. I've got one on the way, but I'm just going to have to use some different colours. So I'm going to use the blue and the violet. So these are all colours that shouldn't really blend. But you know, it's just fun to test how they will work. These colours shouldn't blend, and they're not made to blend. And you can tell what's supposed to do with the Copics. It does say, but just for purposes of testing, I'm just going to try. So these obviously have chisel tips. Those two both have the brush tips, which are much better for blending. You can blend with chisel tips, but it's just not as clean. Okay, so that is our blue down, and we're going to go over that with the green, and we can blend it in a sec. I'm not an artist, but that didn't blend too bad. I would say that was reasonably successful. Don't know how well it shows it in camera, but it looks a bit like the Earth. Okay, that wasn't... Oh! Oh my goodness. Okay, we have a puddle of ink on the black box beneath. Okay, well don't worry about that. Hopefully that'll soak up a bit and won't be too much of a puddle. That's probably just the paper rather than the actual markers. These are actually pretty good. These are surprisingly good. So, yeah. For the money, they are nice. Okay, so the Spectrum Noirs. This is the first time I've used alcohol markers this episode, really. I did a little bit outside of it, I'll be honest. But pretty much this is my first impression. Okay, so they blended well. Probably better than the eBay Off Brands ended up, because that's kind of faded into 3 different types now. This hasn't done that yet. Yeah, the eBay Off Brands actually changed colour like a lot afterwards. So let's see if that does that. I'm just going to blend it in a little bit more. Okay, that's actually a pretty nice gradient there. Alright, so I'll put those down. And we're going to pick up our Copics that we are blending. So we have a blue which kind of matches a little bit. And we have our red because we don't have a green. But just don't blame the markers. I wouldn't use this test. It made a very dark purple. I mean, it's basically what I've just asked for it, and it's done what I asked rather than what I wanted. Yeah, that's generally how stuff works. But that's just me. Don't worry. Not the pen. Okay, so I'm not set up properly, but I just thought, seeing as some more of my Copics came, I'm going to redo the blend test to make it more fair. So I'm just going to show you the results after I've done this. You won't see me doing it because I'm not set up. But yeah. Okay, so don't directly compare it to the Spectrum Noir now, because the Spectrum Noir has been sat like that for a couple of days, but it definitely blended a lot better than the blue and red did. So yeah, it did alright there. And there's the eBay Off Brand, what that looks like now. That didn't blend. And these both did pretty good. Now, what was interesting, okay, so the eBay, you can tell, leaked through. The Copic did a little bit, I think. And the Spectrum Noir did a little bit. So, they all did a little bit, but I think the eBay one definitely leaked through the most. I didn't notice it while I was doing these. And the best blend we've got is the Spectrum Noir, but as I said, the Copics just didn't have a fair test there. Because it just... So I'm just going to ignore that. Just ignore those. But just compare Spectrum Noir and the eBay Off Brand for this one. The Spectrum Noir had a much nicer blend than the eBay Off Brand. But when we were doing the eBay Off Brand, it looked alright. So that's strange. But it still looks half decent, I'll be honest. Okay, so now we're just picking one colour. And we're going to try it and go from the lightest we can to the darkest we can. So I'm going to use these blues. I'm going to try and blend these with a grey Off Brand as well. But I'm just going to go over the top and see how I can do without actually using the grey first. Okay, so it's very limited. We've got kind of two... Oh my gosh. Again, a puddle of ink underneath. But we've got a darker bit this side and a lighter bit that side. But there's only 2 colours really there. So now I'm going to use a cool grey. I'm going to use a blue grey. I'm going to use BG5, which is also the same as cool grey, I'm pretty sure. But I'm just going to use that to just go around this side. Just to get a darker... You know. So that's just with the grey over the same colour that I used last time. And then if we really wanted to, we could use our little... Oh! My goodness, that turned pink. This is now pink, apparently. Sorry for that. Okay, that wasn't terrible, but not great. Okay, so that can go back in this pot. Right, so the Promarker we are going to be using the red for because that's what we have. call this Devil Red because it's R666. Our results, I think we got the best Copic Spectrum Noir for this. I'm not really sure. Probably very similar. Obviously, I said these tests don't really... It's not fair on the Copic, so just ignore this test, please, for the Copic. But looking at this test, very similar results, I'd say. And the red test also, this is more vibrant red, but that's probably just the colour I picked. And actually, sorry, it's not even a red. That's why. And then this, yeah, Spectrum Noir is great. Copic is great. Promarker, personally, I'm not a big fan, but it's probably up to you. And the eBay Off Brands are very good for the price you get. So, hey ho. That is not the conclusion of the video though, although it sounded like one. We have more work. Okay. So, now we're going to be colouring in my character with the markers. So, what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be doing this side as the off-brand Harry P Gaming, and this side as the more expensive. So this is going to consist of Copic, Spectrum Noir, and that is it. Actually, I'm not going to use the other one. So I'm just going to pop all these to the side for a minute, and I'm going to pop these to the side as well, and we are just going to do our eBay off-brand. Okay, so that is my off-brand Harry P Gaming. I feel like the colours actually match pretty well there to the actual logo. I forgot to mention at the start that these are just a hand-drawn version of my logo, which I did in Sharpie, and then scanned it into my computer and printed them off double on half the size. So, yeah. Okay, so now we have our more expensive marker test, which is going to be this side. Also, did any... Okay, so that's why it looks like the other side. It did bleed through an awful lot. Sorry, that was upside down, but oh well. Anyway, yeah, our more expensive markers. So we don't have the colours we need really. But some of the colours will work fine. So I'm going to start with the eyes, just because that's Sharpie, and if I mess it up, I know I can't go back and I'll need to reprint a new one. And now we're probably going to ruin it by using the Spectrum Noir yellow rather than orange, but we'll see. Actually, you know what? Let's take that back. Okay, this brush nib is very disappointing, and we don't have a chisel nib to change to, so I'm going to have to just stick with this. But this is the old design, remember, so the new design is much better, as we pointed out earlier. You could just tell immediately. It's just a whole lot better, and you can go a lot more finer with it, and it doesn't seem to put out as much ink for some reason. Okay, yeah, the Spectrum Noir kind of did ruin this piece of artwork, but I may be able to smooth it up a bit, but that is the brush tip. I don't like that. It's lost its shape already. It's very, very poor brush nib. I don't know how they felt like they could get away with that at first. I know they've upgraded it now, but Man, Spectrum Noir, you let me down. Okay, well just make sure when you're buying Spectrum Noirs that you get the new brush tip and not the old one. It's lost its shape. Like, look, it's bent, and it's not just me, because look at my Copics. We've got the super brush there, it's still perfectly straight, and I've just used that for like the whole shirt. If you can, I don't think it's focused, but yeah, the super brush there has been used for the whole shirt, and it's fine. Oh, I missed out a bit on my hand. Okay, let me just finish that off. I'm disappointed with the old Spectrum Noirs. Very. It's just not good. I'm sorry. I've got the nice blue here though, the peacock blue, which I am very happy with. I really do like the new Spectrum Noirs, but the old ones are just really let me down. And these ones are okay, I guess. Alright, so there we go, that is our thing. I know this actually kind of looks cleaner. We can't do the greys here because I didn't get grey with any of my more expensive markers here. They are my results. I'll let you decide what you... Oh, sorry, I'll put it below the light. You'll actually be able to see it a bit better. But yeah, I'll let you decide what you think looks the best, because the eBay Off Brands are surprisingly good, and I will leave a link in the description if you want them. And I do feel like the Copics and the new Spectrum Noirs are better at blending and adding darkness, but make sure you have the right paper. Come on, like this just isn't good, and that's how they bled through in the end. So the eBay marker bled through on all of it. That's strange. The Spectrum Noir marker didn't bleed through completely, and the Copic marker, it's actually very lightly bled through, which is great. It's not bled through completely, and it's not wasting as much ink because you can tell the pigmentation is just really nice in there. So anyway, that is that part of the test. Now we need to go back to our original sheet. So we need to write the look out of 10 for my eBay markers. So right, they're quite chunky, nice square shape. They're decent, but there was one, I don't think I'm going to find it, where it was completely wrong, and the label was basically half not there, half just over the corner, and you couldn't read it, but I don't think I'm going to find it. Yeah, I've had a quick look and I can't find it, so, but yeah. So, they're not perfect. Also, one of the numbers, some of the numbers have started to fade off the ends already, and that was after like one use, and I haven't used them much, so I think generally they look okay, but you do get faults, so I'm going to have to take a point or two off faults, so that's 8, and then they're definitely not perfect, so I'll give them a 6 out of 10. Actually, I'll give them a 7 out of 10 for look. And for feel, they just don't feel nice with a chisel tip. So I'm going to have to give that a 5. Actually, I'll give it a 4. Just because there's no brush, and I do like using the brush. So overall, I feel like these perform quite well. Here was my test sheet there, and my... obviously there, so that is what we got with the eBay Off Brands, all of this here. So I feel like we got a decent result for, especially for what we paid. So overall, actually I'm going to take into account the price for this, and I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10 because of the price. It's not that good. Actually, I'll give it a 7. Okay, so they deliver a nice result, and they're good price, but you can't use them for blending, and obviously they're colourless blender, you can't buy them singly, there's no brush, sorry, there's no refills, but the price brings that up a lot, and the fact that they were actually quite a smooth colour, and they work pretty well, especially on this printer paper, which just isn't great. Okay, so the Promarker. Look, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, these just look really appalling. And yeah, I'm gonna give them a 4 for the look. I'm sorry, personal preference, I just don't like them. Feel, holding them they feel cheap, but they actually have a pretty nice brush, and yeah, I'm gonna give that a 6, I guess, for feel. They just feel a lot better than the eBay Off Brands. Actually, I'll give it a 7. No, a 6. A 6, definitely a 6. But the result was pretty good from what we got. I mean, it did bleed a hell of a lot here. And if you look at the chisel, it's only that thick, and it's not actually... Sorry, it's only that thick. So it has gone... It's spread a lot. They do offer all of the types. They do have the ability to buy single. They don't have refills, and they do have the colourless blender. So I'm gonna give that a 7 or so. Okay, so I'm just editing the video, and I've decided to change my mind about my vote for the Promarker overall, because I feel like I voted it a bit too high, so I'm gonna drop that to a 6. Okay, back to the video. Because the price is quite pricey for what I paid anyway, so I'm gonna tie that with the eBay Off Brand. It's personally not my thing. Okay, for the Spectrum Noirs, I'm going to be rating it purely off the new one, which I did like. They had a really nice brush tip that didn't deform, unlike the other ones, the old model. But you're probably going to get the new one if you buy them, so I'm just going to rate the new one. So look, I think it's a really nice look. I like the shape, it's original. It's just clean, and I like how you have the numbers and the names on the side, which you also do with the more expensive Copics. And yeah, the Promarker doesn't actually have a name, it just says R666. Actually it does, it says red on the barrel. But I don't like that. Okay, so look, I'm going to give this a... It's a really nice pen. I'm going to give it a 9 for look. For feel, okay, so it is a little bit chunky, I suppose. But for actual, oh, wrong side. For actual use, yeah, it's nice. It's very nice. So I'm gonna give that an. Okay, it doesn't have a chisel tip, which I would prefer, I think, to the thin tip. So I'm gonna give that an 8. And overall, I'm gonna give this the new one, not the old ones. The old ones would get like quite low, really quite low, probably less than the Promarker just because I didn't like it. I'd probably get about 6. But the new ones I really, really like, and I'm going to give them a 9 out of 10, which is very good. Okay, so Copics. The look. These are Chow's specifically I'm rating. Copic themselves, they have a really nice look and a really nice, I presume, a really nice, well, they feel the same as these. So, okay, so look for these. I'm gonna give them an 8 for look, specifically Chow. Copic Chow. I'm gonna write that just so you know that it's official. I'm only rating the look for the Chow. So yeah, the look are an 8. They're still very nice looking pens generally, and they feel expensive. They look expensive. Okay, so feel, they obviously feel pretty amazing, so I'm gonna go with a 9. It just feels premium. And overall, I'm gonna have to go with the same as a Spectrum Noir and give them a 9. So yeah, I really like the Copic and I really like the Spectrum Noir. Spectrum Noir is just a bit more affordable than the Copic. And the Copics are obviously very easy to refill, very easy to pick up, and they are top of the range technically. Looking at this, the Copic did seem a bit more... they have a larger range of colours as well, so maybe go for the Copic if you can afford it. If not, Spectrum Noir is brilliant, go for them, and if even those are too expensive for you, don't even consider this as an option, go to the eBay Off Brand. So yeah, that was the summary of the video. So yeah, I thank you for watching. and I'll see you all later. Check links in the description for everything. I'm going to leave links to the eBay pens and some Copics maybe and other stuff like that. As well as the white pen I use. If you really want that, I wouldn't really suggest it from the small amount of time I've had using this. So let's try just to give a bit of a shine in the eyes right now, just to... Actually, you know what? I think that's more user error. So, yeah, I'll leave a link to these as well. Okay, that looks quite nice actually. I like that shine in the eyes I've just added. It adds a bit more extra, I think. Okay, so yeah, check links in the description. I'll leave not affiliate links, but just links to all that stuff. And also, there'll be links to stuff like my Discord server, my Instagram, where you can have a say in what's going on the channel and keep up to date. And my merch, if you do fancy that. We've got this design down there, so yeah, not this one, but the original version. And we've got the Reddit where you can post stuff. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.